morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Pre-Market Info.
Apple continues to hang out here in the 530s, but it is up $6 today, so a nice change. Usually we come in and it's down 6, so it's up 6. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's forming a bottom. Treasury is going to sell their remaining AIG shares, 234 million of them at 32.5. Stock actually rallying though. We're going to talk about some key levels in your top S&P components. Joel, let's start out here with Apple. It's always the talk. It seems to take up at least half of the CNBC show, so I may as well take up the top end of our show as well.
Yeah, we got a little bit of an Apple rally going here. Apple rally seems to be making a high as we speak here, right around the 536 level. Only see one resistance point here between 536 and 555.20. 538.51 was Monday's high.
Yep.
That's a minor number here. If you got a target on the long side for short-term trade, that may be it. But you break above 538.51, and I wouldn't want to be short with your money. Coming back on the downside, would love to see Friday's close at 533.25, or even today's close, or yesterday's close at 530. But I don't think we're going to get that low. I think we're going to get a bounce here, take out yesterday's high, and off to the races.
You're bullish Apple.
I'm bullish Apple, yes.
Wow. Well, you kind of put in that double bottom there yesterday. You could argue 518.63 was low on the 6th. And then you can look at it in 521.58, the low yesterday. So call that area a double bottom. So technicians like that. They're liking it this morning with the stock up 6 points. So a little Apple rally, a little relief for you Apple bulls here, because it's obviously been a bad couple of weeks. I don't know if I'm going to really jump on the bandwagon here and say, look, the bottom is in on Apple, but at least it's going to have. It looks like it's going to have a decent morning here, anyways. I think you get up there in that 550 area. I think there's resistance all over the place. But like Joel said, lots of air between 538 and 550. Moving on, AIG selling their remaining shares, or the government selling their remaining shares, 234 million of them at 32.5. They are going to be priced. Buy them. Well, the shareholders are going to make money. 34.13 is where the stock is trading this morning. Interesting enough, this news came out last night. The stock traded down and traded actively between 32.80 and 32.90. This morning they come out and announce the price of 32.5 and the stock spikes. So I don't know. It's up on 9.5 million shares. So we are talking serious volume here on AIG, trading 34.10.
Yeah, pre-market high is right in this area. 34.24 is where we've stopped in the pre-market. Going to the charts here, Dennis, we kind of got a funky formation here. We had a high of 34.07 back on the 2nd, and that was part of a gap down to 34.76. Since that time, we had a recovery high at 34.50. So if this rally continues, let's look for major resistance between 34.50, 34.70. Coming back on this downside, I guess there's really good support at 32.5. I just, can't figure these things out. The shareholders are getting a good deal from the government, though. See if the government can get out of their GM trade as well.
These secondary prices often do put a floor on the stock, so I would definitely keep that 32.5. If for whatever reason the stock decided to start pulling back in the next couple of days, 32.5 was the floor when they did this last time. Wouldn't be surprised if they find huge buyers in that 32.50 area again this time. But we're up $1.50 from there, so if you're buying it here, you're reaching a little bit from where the secondary is going to be priced.
When do you get the stock? Do you know what the actual
no,
day of the secondary?
They may have announced it. I didn't actually look at the headline to see when they're going to do this.
If you're getting it at 32.5,
it's usually a few weeks. It's usually a few weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's usually a few weeks before.
I say, man, I'd be getting 30.5. I'd be dumping it at 34 right here.
Well, and people that think they're going to, maybe they could hedge them. Yeah, take the quick $1.50 there. But I don't know if the allocation was oversubscribed last time too, so it's not a guarantee you're going to get it.
Yeah, so, hell yeah, you're just oversubscribed at this price.
I make $1.50. So I guess that's how it works. Urban Outfitters, URBN, trading up significantly here this morning. The comp Strong comp trends were cited here, and the stock trading up almost 7%, $2.50, 39.55 after closing at 37 bucks. I look at that $40 area, I see some pretty decent resistance up there.
I knew you were going to say that.
You know I like my whole numbers.
40.05.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple,
Yeah,
stupid.
keep it simple, stupid. We have hit 40.05 in the pre-market for those of you that are interested.
See, my 40 would have worked in the pre-market.
Yeah,
I could already made
exactly.
50 cents.
50 cent. Looking at the recent high of the move, you have 40.65, which I think might be a little out of the question today. That would take another over buck rally. 82,000 shares is nothing to sniff at, but this thing does, trade over, around 2 million a day. I wouldn't be surprised to see that 40 hold up in the regular session as well. Playing it from the long side off the open, if we broke below this 39.40 area, I think I'd have to cut it loose on the long side.
The Limited announcing a $3 special dividend. It's the special dividend time of year. I guess it's a special time of year. 52 bucks is where it's trading right now after closing at 50.66. But a $3 special dividend. So shareholders of the Limited are happy here this morning. Obviously resistance up in the 52.5 area, which was the high from the third.
Are they borrowing money to do this, or did they?
I don't think so. Actually, I don't think so. I hate that though when the companies do that they borrow to pay a special dividend. It sounds absolutely ridiculous that you're going to borrow money to pay a dividend to your shareholders. I don't know. The Limited, I don't think that is the case here. They actually do have the cash, so they are paying out the $3 special dividend.
Okay, as well, maybe someone had an inkling on this going into because the stock made an all-time high yesterday at 52.50.
Last week.
Yeah, last week. I'm sorry. Looking at the pre-market activity, you got a high at 53.24, so that's going to be your major resistance. Probably some stock laying around there at 53, as well as the former all-time high at 52.50. Coming back on the downside, boy, this is just sitting at 52 bucks. I hate to say it, but if it broke below 52, you could slide right back down to the $51 area.
Usually these hold up pretty well though when you have these special dividends, because you get players that are trying to come in almost doing like the ARB thing. They want to get the dividend and they'll buy it ahead of time. I'm not sure what the date was on that, but sometimes you'll see them actually run up ahead of the dividend, and then the next day obviously it adjusts for the dividend when it goes ex-dividend. But so I wouldn't be surprised if it did hold up actually pretty well here. The 52 area I think is a good swing number that Joel's just given you. Microsoft, Joel, your trade is starting to work out here. You didn't get shaken out there at the bottom. I had a scalp. I got shaken out of part of my scalp, but I still have the swing trade on. Then just from your article there where you defined my risk for me at 26.26. I was getting nervous when that thing got down to 26.37, but now it's looking better. I actually ticked up over 27 this morning. Trading 27 right on the button though, and after closing at 26.94. Is it going to get up to that 27.77 area where our target is?
Well, we got some work to do here. First at 27.14, which has been the pre-market high. You also have a high coin, the 7-day high at 27.13. So for you week longs there would be a target for you. But couple triple tops to deal with, Dennis. You had 3 highs between 26.93 and 98. We've seen the broke through there. But the next major level of resistance is 27.36 to 39. That is the 8, 9, and 10-day highs. That would be another target there for you longs today. The way Microsoft moves, it might take another week to get to 27.77.
It doesn't usually move too quick, which was surprising. It had a good day yesterday, being up 50 cents. So I was happy to see that because I'm still holding on, hoping to get up to that 27.77 area. ExxonMobil. That stock did break out yesterday, but then peeled back, got up as high as 88.95, then peeled back later on in the day. 88.63 is where it's trading at this morning. I'm going to tell you the number though. It's 89 bucks. There's big institutional selling pressure up there. That's why get the high frequency guys. They love selling in front of those big institutional whole numbers like that, and they put a lid on it at 88.95 yesterday. If it gets up into that area, expect high frequency resistance once again.
Yeah, very little volume here. driving ExxonMobil up. That $89 area, obviously some traders are looking at the 12-day high of 89.09. So that would be my number, even if it breaks through the $89 level. 89.09 may be a little bit of a sticking point. But above the 89.09, things really open up. There's really not much resistance holding the 89 handle. Just for a cue, it seems like Chevron seemed to break out a little bit earlier. Got up to 107.69. That would be the resistance for Chevron Corporation. But kind of quiet in the pre-market in the Chevron Corporation. Any offers out there for you to lift?
It's bid up 107.25,
Yeah.
so it's bid up 30 cents here. But yeah, there's been no trades this morning. The best offer is up at 107.60, so kind of just in line with fair value there. But 3 days in a row, we've just had higher highs and higher lows here, so the breakout does continue in Chevron.
Love to see it pull back to that double close area. 106.99 was Friday's close. Monday's close 106.96. Love to see it come back into that 107 area for some good support for a short-term scalp today.
You want to talk about a key level here. General Electric 2150 is absolutely enormous on this stock. Over 250,000 shares there in the book too, so that's definitely got some institutional resistance, and you know those high-frequency guys are feasting on that order. If it can get above 2150, it would be in breakout mode, but that's trying to put a lid here on it in the pre-market. It's 2145 as it's trading right now.
Yeah, the stock has just kind of snuck up here. 2152 was the high on November 7th. Keep an eye on that. If, in fact, you can clear that level, you got a straight shot up here to 2177. That was the high back on November 6th. So got a couple levels there. Microsoft is just kind of sneaking up here. One thing to note to our traders, it only has a nickel to go to get to that area. It's not like it's, late in the day and it's already rallied 35 cents.
Yeah, if it gets some upside momentum here going, it could chew through that.
Yeah, 250 million shares. 250,000. When this trades millions and millions of shares a day, someone like you could take out that whole offer.
Maybe in the old days, I'm not as good as I used to be. Not as big as I used to be. Wells Fargo WFC is trading up here today, but man, you got to look at this level here. This whole 33.40 area has just been enormous. 33.35, call it. Got up there again yesterday and rejected it. Stock sold off, closed near the lows. Trading up here 15 cents this morning, but man, it gets up to that 33.35, 33.40 area. Just keeps finding sellers.
If it doesn't go through there today, I'm going to walk on my hands, handstand to your house.
You think it's going through there?
It's got to go through there today.
I don't know. Well, you could have said that the last 7 days. It's been up there 7 days.
Did we find out? Was it an octuple? Remember we were talking about triple top?
Well, there's septuplet and octuplet. I don't know. Is that what it is? Octuplet?
There's no such thing as an octuplet. It's going through today.
I don't know, man. I think, it's worked 7 times. Why not work the 8th time? I'm still playing it from the short side in the 33.30s because it's worked there every time. It starts getting above 33.45, then, I'd look to cover. So give yourself 10 cents there and play from the short side again. That's where I'm saying. Sold to you.
Is there a size in that area?
I don't see much in the book, but obviously somebody is liquidating a piece because when you get 6-7 days in a row basically topping out right in the same area, there's some algorithm, there's somebody liquidating some type of piece for it to have those highs that many days. And until he's done, stock can continue to give you a resistance right there.
You think it's Warren? You think Warren's lightening up a little bit here?
No, Warren's becoming like a day trader now. All those trades. Always complaining about the short-term guys. He's becoming one himself, maybe. So I don't know who's lightening up, but somebody is lightening up in Wells Fargo in the 33.30s. Procter Gamble, these are all big numbers, man. Here's another one for you. 70.80. The stock has got some significant size up there, and that coincides nicely with a couple of highs that we had. 70.83 back on October 25th, and 70.66, which was the high just from 2 days ago. I'm seeing size all over the place in Wells or in Procter Gamble, starting at 70.5, but I see more at 70.75, 70.80. So somebody's layering out some pieces up there on Procter and Gamble as well.
Yeah, you have the high of the recent move at 70.83. That is the highest. That 70.83 level is the highest the stock has traded since October of 2008, which sends a shudder through everyone's bones when you mention that. But yeah, just trade the size there. It kind of has a ways to go to get there, since it closed at 70.22. So don't see as high a probability as that getting taken out today as you do something like General Electric or Wells Fargo.
Morgan Stanley going to start breaking out here, Joel. It's got some big resistance too in this whole 1710, 1715 area. We've had 6, 7 days just like the Wells where we've topped out. We are trading a bit above here in the pre-market 1720, and if we could start getting above that 1720, 1725, you have this whole air because
Yep.
back on the 6th of November, you topped out there, and then you had the big gap down day on November the 7th where the stock went from 1764 open and closed at 1663. So we always say when they move down through an area quickly, they can move up through an area quickly. You looking to play that breakout?
Well, the only way it's going to break out is if I short the open and plan on buying it back at 17. I mean, you just feel like, okay, it's all those tops. It's gonna come back. So yesterday's high was 1704. I think I would in the previous days, actually 3 days worth of highs between 1704 and 1712. I think I'd rather lay off short in the open. Hopefully, some people buy the open, get a little whoosh down in the spoos, and try and pick this up around $17, and use a 16.89 stop, and then try and get 20, 30 cents out of it. Rather buy it on the cheap than going head first on the open.
Well, talking about resistance and talking about overall breakouts, what about the overall market here? 1424 is where we're trading right now. The high back on December the 3rd was 1424, which is the high of your move. Are we breaking out here going to go test that 1432 area?
When I do my numbers, you would think that on the days where there's like really tight ranges that they would be easier to do, but they're not. They're actually harder to do because there's so many numbers in the same darn area. And the you started bunching up at 1410 with the lows, and now you've had a series of highs at 1424. That's the 6-day high. You've got above that in the pre-market. We're kind of just holding steady here. Got to clear that 1424. After that, I don't see any resistance. The next tick might be 1431.75. And that was the high on November 7th. But when we got this bullish on Friday after the unemployment number,
It turned
we
around
got our
and
heads
sold
handed
off.
to us.
Yeah.
But it's up here and it's holding. Also, I don't know. Were you watching the spoos from 4 to 4:15? Because it was trading, 17 and a half, 18. Looked like we were just going to settle there, and boom, you just got that quick 2 or 3 point pop right in the last few minutes, and it settled up really just off the high of the day. So looking for support at yesterday's high, 1420, and I do think we're going to see that 1431.75 today.
That's our show for today. Have a great trading day. We'll be back with you guys tomorrow.